Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. They promote authoritarian leaders and they fan the flames of political violence that are a threat to our personal rights, to the pursuit of justice, to the rule of law, to the very soul of this country. MAGA Republicans look at America and see carnage and darkness and despair. They spread fear and lies. Lies told for profit and power. Good manners is nothing they've ever suffered from. The MAGA Republicans believe that for them to succeed, everyone else has to fail. They believe America is not like I believe about America. MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger. They thrive on chaos. They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election.
This is by far the most terrifying, the most divisive, the most dangerous, the most tyrannical, and the most threatening speech that we have ever had by a sitting president in the history of the United States of America. And mark my words, he meant every single word of it. This is coming from a president who claimed he's all about unity. Well, in reality, he is a big, fat liar. He cares not about unification. The fact that a sitting president would go to the very heart of our country, the very place that we were founded, and sit on his red pulpit that is reminiscent of Hitler and pound his fists on the ground, yelling at 74 million Americans about how bad we are, tells me a whole lot about this sitting president. I've got so much about this direct assault from a sitting president that I've got to share with you today, and you're going to be literally chilled to your bone. But before I do, I want to remind you, check out noblegoldinvestments.com. If you guys haven't converted your 401k, now is absolutely the time to do that, especially in light of everything that's going on with the economy. As long as Biden's in charge, you can guarantee that this economy is not going to go in the right direction. Give them a call today. They're no hassle, and right now they are giving away this 1/10 ounce gold coin with any approved plan. But check it out at noblegoldinvestments.com and take advantage of their special offer. All right, so let's dive into this tyrannical speech. The clips that you just saw a moment ago, I want to recap because there were a lot of things, a lot of criticisms and threats coming from the mouth of the president. Here's just 14 things that he said about us. He said, A, we are extremists. We are a threat to the republic and a threat to democracy. He said, we are taking this country backwards. He said that we give people no right to choose. We don't allow people privacy. We don't allow people contraceptives. I mean, really? And we don't allow people to marry those that they love. I mean, what? These are bold-faced lies to the American people. He goes on to say that we promote authoritarian leaders. We seek carnage and despair. We spread fears and lies. And he says that the only way that we can succeed as MAGA supporters is for everyone else to fail. He said that we have no manners. We don't respect the Constitution. We don't believe in the rule of law. We don't recognize the will of the people, and that we thrive on anger and spread chaos. chaos. He said that we live under a shadow of lies and that we don't respect the elections that we lose. That's a lot of criticism coming from one man, a man who, by the way, looks a lot like Hitler in this photo. And I really got to hone in on this because it kind of does. Let's just be real. The actions, the responses, the way that he acted today were exactly the actions of a dictator. He is accusing his political oppositions, those that he doesn't like, of doing the very things that this creep does. Why? Why would a sitting president of the United States take to the heart of our country, the heart of the United States of America, to get up on that pulpit and bash those that he doesn't agree with? Why would he do that? And I think that's the question that we all need to kind of focus on here. Why go to the place that we were founded just to bash your political base? Well, despite what Joe Biden says, I do believe it has a lot with deterring getting people to vote a certain way in the midterm election. Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. And the second thing, right? I believe that he wants to see this country divided and he wants to see this country burn to the ground. And he would rather see it burn to the ground than expose the things that he has done to his country. He does not want to be held accountable for his inflation, for his gas prices, for the crap that he has brought to this country with the restrictions and mandates with COVID-19. Rather than take accountability, he would rather see this country divided and burn to the ground. Why else go to the pulpit like that and say those things to the American people? And by the way, in that speech, he tried to claim it's just a small portion of Republicans, those MAGA people. Let me just put that little thing to rest. Let's go to Ballotopia here. Here's Ballotpedia, excuse me, not Ballotopia, Ballotpedia. And here it is. Endorsements by Donald Trump. Let's go to 2022. And here it is. You can see, well, let's go back to 2017, right? 2018, 58% of those endorsed by the former president got in. 2019, 43%, 2020, 77%. And then we see 2022, 92%. It seems like Trump is growing in popularity. And if 92% of the candidates won that were backed by Trump, then that should tell you 92% of Republicans, vast majority, are exactly the ones who Joe Biden is talking about and addressing here. He has called half of the country a threat. And what really worries me is that just about a week ago, Joe Biden took to his pulpit once again and stated very clearly that conservatives' guns are not big enough to take on his mighty power of the military. In other words, conservatives, MAGA supporters, you're going to do what we say when we say, because you have not a shot in hell against the government. And then right after he made that statement, he comes out with this. I was listening to a more neutral party, and that would be Tim Pool. He also goes by Timcast, Tim Pool. I was listening to him on YouTube earlier today, and he made a statement that I don't disagree with. And he said this about Donald Trump's speech last night. And here's what he said, and I'm just going to quote him. He said that he believes it's a precursor to civil war. And that's coming from a more neutral person, a precursor to civil war. Joe Biden isn't creating unity. He is refusing to face accountability, blaming crap on his political opposition, and he's even calling himself a president of both sides.
But I'm an American president. Not a president of red America, blue America, but of all America. And I believe it's my duty to level with you, to tell the truth, no matter how difficult, no matter how painful.
Can you believe that those words came out of Joe Biden's mouth and out of the very same lips, and at the very same time, he's blasting all of the red side? That is not a president of both red and blue. That is a president of one-sided politics. That is a president who says we can only have one belief in this country. We can have only one side in this country. In other words, we can only be China. We all have to be Democrats and that's it. And in China, you all have to be communist and that's it. That's what he said here. While he's saying one thing, he is promoting another out of the same lips in the very same speech. He is clearly stating that there is only one side acceptable. That's called communism. That's called China. That's called dictatorship and tyranny. Now, probably the worst part of his speech, all of it was really bad, but the worst part of his speech is he literally hearkened his base, your Antifa types and BLM, to take matters into their own hands against these MAGA Republicans.
But while the threat to American democracy is real, I want to say as clearly as we can, we are not powerless in the face of these threats. We are not bystanders in this ongoing attack on democracy. There are far more Americans from every background and belief who reject the extreme MAGA ideology than those that accept it. And folks, it's within our power, it's in our hands, yours and mine, to stop the assault on American democracy.
How do you stop the assault on American democracy and take matters into your own hands? How do you do that? But don't worry, he expands.
History tells us that blind loyalty to a single leader and a willingness to engage in political violence is fatal to democracy. For a long time, we've told ourselves that American democracy is guaranteed, but it's not. We have to defend it, protect it, stand up for it, each and every one of us. That's why tonight, I'm asking our nation to come together, unite behind the single purpose of defending our democracy regardless of your ideology. We're all called by duty and conscience to confront extremists who put their own pursuit of power above all else. Democrats, independents, mainstream Republicans, we must be stronger, more determined, and more committed to saving American democracy than MAGA Republicans are to destroying American democracy. We, the people, will not let anyone or anything tear us apart. Today, there are dangers around us we cannot allow to prevail.
There are dangerous MAGA people around us, of which he cannot allow them to prevail? I mean, what exactly does that mean, Joe Biden? Can you expand? I mean, he just said and called his entire base, it is your duty, he said, your duty as a Democrat, as a liberal, as a Liz Cheney Republican to confront these extremist types. How exactly are they going to confront us, Joe Biden? You know what I see in the future, and I really hope to God I'm wrong. I see people with Trump hats on, Trump shirts on, or Trump stickers on their car, and I could see their cars getting keyed, they're getting harassed, they're getting yelled at, they're getting made fun of, they're getting segregated against, they're getting kicked out of jobs by your liberal Democrat base because of the things that you just said from the pulpit. God, I hope I'm wrong. But the only one causing division here is Joe Biden and his administration. Again, I think he's trying to take the whole country down with him, and he doesn't care about anything but himself, and that's it. He's destroyed our country. He's let millions of people in at our border with no regard to checks on their health status. There's little to no vetting of these people coming in the country, crime or no crime. They're being shipped all over the country. Not only that, but our inflation is through the roof. Our people are hungry in portions of the United States. We have people waiting in line hours to get food. We have gas prices through the roof. We have an economic instability. We have a crisis on our shipping supply chain. We have massive amounts of money going to a green agenda that's not even that green and can't even truly power the United States of America. The technology doesn't exist. So he's further breaking us apart, but he doesn't care. Because it's not about America. It's about pushing a World Economic Forum, United Nations, global agenda, the Great Reset agenda. And so what does he do? He goes after his entire base. Now, the good news is there was a young man in there heckling him all throughout the speech. Is saying F Joe Biden, using the actual word there. But FJB over and over and over again. I'm just, at least he was willing to stand up. Can't say, I thought at least someone was there to stand up. Meanwhile, CNN, Communist News Network, knew that Biden looked like a dictator and a Hitler dictator up there, so much so that they changed his background, a little pink there. CNN accused of editing Biden's blood red background for dark speech targeting conservative. And you can see the original on one side and the pink on the other side. Even mainstream media people had mentioned the fact that he had military personnel in the back, Marines, and they were upset about it. Here is Jeff Zelensky. Now, Jeff Zelensky is CNN guy, and he says, there's nothing unusual or wrong with the president delivering a political speech as part of his job, but doing it against a backdrop of 2 Marines standing at attention and the Marine band is a break with the White House traditions. It's a bit creepy. Now, I've known they have used him before, but the problem is, I think this was a show of force. This was a hierarchy thing for the Biden administration. Look at me, how strong I am. Screw with me, MAGA supporters, and we'll go after you. And I believe, and there was another one who did it, Brianna Kellier here, who is another mainstream media one. She also kind of called out the Marines as well. But bottom line, I believe one of the reasons Joe Biden did this as well is because he wanted to show his power. He wanted to show his force, and he wanted to say, it doesn't matter what you say if you're a Trump supporter, because I'm in charge. I'm better than you. I don't care about the hypocrisy. And the other message that I believe he sent is, we're going to indict Donald Trump. I don't think that he would have given this speech unless he knew something was coming, right after the midterm election. And I believe that's the message he's sending. I believe they're going to go after Trump. And then the question we must ask ourselves is, who's next? Because if they take out a sitting former president of the United States, they have no regard to anyone else. This is why this entire speech is absolutely terrifying. But if you really want to know what's going on, Justice Knight put out some great stuff. Get to restrictedrepublic.com. Right now, you can get it for $50 for life, as long as you have it, but $50 a year for life, as long as you have it. Use the coupon code FOREVER and the number 50, FOREVER 50. But we've got exclusive clips, exclusive information on what went on. You could get commercial-free content, by the way, and we give 5 to 6 additional videos per week on Restricted Republic that you're not getting here. But if you really want to know what's going on, get to restrictedrepublic.com. Anyhow, I love all of you. I'm Lisa Haven signing out.